I think there are many reasons why he is so unique. One of them is the extraordinary authenticity and honesty of his approach to making art. There is never a moment when you do not recognize that all the fallacies of making art are fully consciously addressed and fully consciously responded to. So the radicality of the work, I think, originates partially in the honesty with which he reflects on what it means to be an artist in our historical moment. The other aspect that makes the work, as we can see in this absolutely amazing exhibition, that makes the work so extraordinary is the versatility, which of course has bewildered all of us since the mid-1960s. I got to know him in the early 70s, and we've been friends ever since. The versatility meaning the capacity to address all of the issues that were key questions in the 20th century art, whether it means the return to order or whether it means abstraction, and of course the capacity that he has developed to bring those together and keep them together all the time is one of the most amazing dimensions that this exhibition brings out as well. So once again, in spite of all that I've read and all that I've seen and all of that I've studied about his work, I walk away completely bewildered by this exhibition to see the immensity of the contradictions that he fully formulates in the realm of painting. And I could go on and on in terms of saying what makes it so extraordinary, but those are two aspects that I think are absolutely amazing in the work. And especially the way this exhibition has been curated by him primarily, and Hans Ulrich Obrist, is of course bringing out the depth of those contradictions at a level where I have never seen it. So the way the 8 gray are juxtaposed with Ella here, for example, gives you the full scope of this existential reflection of depth, of contradictions within which one lives and works as an artist, but also as a subject in the 21st century. So I think there are reasons why people are increasingly fascinated by the work, because every year he seems to come up with another dimension, like the digital paintings, for example. Nobody would have thought that that type of work would be done by an 80-year-old master. That would have been done perhaps by a 25-year-old young upstart artist. But I think when it comes to digital culture's impact on painting, nobody has done a more convincing model than the new strip paintings that Gerhard has produced over the past 3 years. So it's on and on and on and on. And as I said, I could go on, but I don't think I should, to explain why this work is so absolutely extraordinary. And I think it's really the precision with which he reflects on what it means to be a painter, and at the same time, the work is not ever positivist in the way that modernism was positivist. It is a much more contradictory approach than merely verifying the procedures and the structures of painterly organization, which was one of the conditions of modernist painting after the war. So he has taken all of these legacies and expanded them in an extraordinary way, I think.
Do you have a personal highlight in this exhibition?
Yes, I think the highlight for me would be the juxtapositions, the one that we're standing in front of, Ella and the 8 gray, Betty in the room with the abstract paintings, the juxtaposition of the landscapes, the juxtaposition of the 2 nudes with the strip paintings. These are the highlights for me. The very constellation that he conceived in collaboration with Hans Ulrich of bringing out the full spectrum of extraordinary contradictory terms, which gives it an incredible range of options for thinking for all of us, not just for him, but for all of us seeing this and thinking about what it means to live in this kind of constellation of oppositions. So all of the juxtapositions for me are the highlights, yes.
In the talk in August, you will be talking about families, is that
yes,
right?
I will only talk about the family pictures, which is the last chapter of the book that I'm working on. And I consider the family pictures starting with Emma in 1965, the nude descending a staircase, I do consider the family pictures the most difficult of all pictures.
In what respect?
Because they are so manifestly conservative, and I can't easily deal with conservative propositions. I don't necessarily subscribe to the model that is advocated there, supposedly, that the family is the unit and social organization that we should all abide by, nor can I abide by a painterly proposition that suggests we should return to figuration, nor should I accept a model that insists on traditional definitions of color as a local color principle. So all of these models that he resuscitates in the family pictures seem very conservative, at times even reactionary, and it's hard for me to accept them. So I know that he's not a reactionary thinker or person or painter, and it's the task of one of the critics, or all of the critics, historians, to deal with this, to understand to what degree it is part of the complexity of being a contemporary painter without relapsing into earlier models and resuscitating them as though they were valid models. I don't think he's really a retour à l'ordre painter at all, even though one could easily start thinking he's doing what Picasso did in 1915 when he started to become an angrist painter, draftsman. And there's, of course, an issue that has to be considered, but it's more complicated than that. So that's what I will be talking about.